Snow fell gently over the quiet American neighborhood, the kind of snowfall that made the world feel slower, softer. Inside a small house at the end of Maple Street, Robert Miller, a 62-year-old retired factory worker, stood alone in his living room staring at his Christmas tree. It was beautifully decorated, gold lights, red ornaments, a silver star on top. Under the tree sat two presents, one small, one slightly bigger. Every year, Robert placed two gifts, but only one was ever opened. The other belonged to Daniel, his son. Daniel hadn't been home for 8 years. It all started with an argument, an ordinary one that turned permanent. Daniel wanted to move to Los Angeles to chase his dream of becoming a filmmaker. Robert wanted him to stay, get a stable job, live a safe life. "You're chasing fantasies," Robert had said. Daniel packed his bags that same night. At first, there were phone calls. Short ones. Awkward ones. Then there were texts. Then, nothing. Robert told himself he was fine. He filled his days with routine, morning coffee, afternoon walks, evening TV. But every December, the emptiness returned. Because Christmas remembers what we try to forget. That evening, Robert set the dinner table. 2 plates, 2 glasses. He paused, staring at the empty chair across from him. His wife had passed away 3 years earlier, and sometimes it felt like the house was grieving too. Creaking floors, quiet corners, memories that refused to fade. Robert sat down alone. He tried to eat, but his appetite was gone. Instead, he picked up a small photo frame from the shelf. It was Daniel at age 10, smiling wide, holding a cheap camcorder. "You always loved telling stories," Robert whispered. "I just didn't know how to listen." Outside, the wind howled. Inside, the clock ticked loudly. 9:47 p.m. Robert stood and walked to the tree. He knelt down and touched Daniel's gift, still wrapped in blue paper. Inside was a leather notebook. On the first page, Robert had written years ago, "For the stories you haven't told yet, love, Dad." A knock suddenly echoed through the house. Robert froze. No one ever knocked. He stood still, afraid it was his imagination. Then another knock, stronger. His heart pounded as he walked to the door. When he opened it, a young woman stood there holding a camera and a small bag. "I'm sorry to bother you," she said softly. "Are you Robert Miller?" "Yes." "My name is Emma. I work with Daniel." Robert's breath caught. He wanted me to give you something," she continued. "He couldn't come himself." She handed him the camera. "My battery died," she added, "but he recorded this for you." Before Robert could speak, she smiled sadly and walked back into the snow. With shaking hands, Robert turned on the camera. Daniel's face appeared on the screen, older, tired, but unmistakably his son. "Hey, Dad," Daniel said. "I don't know if you'll watch this, or if you still want to hear from me." Robert's eyes filled with tears. "I spent years being angry," Daniel continued. "But the truth is I was scared I wasn't good enough, and scared I'd come home a failure." The screen flickered slightly. "I made movies, Dad. Not big ones, but honest ones, and every story I told me was missing you." Robert covered his mouth. "I don't need you to understand my dreams anymore. I just need my father back." Daniel took a breath. "If you're still awake, I'll be outside." The video ended. Robert dropped the camera. His legs trembled as he rushed to the door. He opened it, and there stood Daniel, snow on his jacket, eyes full of fear and hope. "Dad," he said quietly. Robert didn't answer. He pulled Daniel into his arms and held him like he was afraid time would steal him again. They stood there crying as snow fell around them. Later, sitting by the fire, Daniel noticed the gift under the tree. "You kept this?" he asked. "Every year," Robert replied. Daniel opened it and found the notebook. He read the first page and smiled through tears. "I think I finally know what story I want to tell," he said. Robert nodded. "Just make sure you come home for Christmas." That night, the house felt alive again, not because of the lights, not because of the tree, but because love, once broken, found its way back. Ending line, strong CTA feel. Sometimes the greatest Christmas miracle isn't what we receive. It's who finally comes home.